Sup Shredders, my name is Logan, aka Spiderhands, and welcome to an SP Reacts, where today we have ourselves a track from an act named Behave, titled Built Like That. And if we switch over to here, we have ourselves a track on YouTube here, the official music video. We're going to listen through it from start till finish, and we're going to hear what we think. Let's go, let's do it.
Let's behave.
Nice balance of ambient vocals and sub bass there.
Unwind till I feel fine. Do I really feel fine? Heart heavy on the line, I'ma grind till the wheels shine. Like I'm stuck in the ground with a steel spine. It's dark when you're hopeless, I'm lost in my focus, but I feel blind. Shit, I guess it's just a kill time. Look at these thoughts, are they still mine? This is heavy as it sounds, it'll probably get around. Nothing's out of bounds if you're built like that. That money comes around, yeah, she gets around. Probably throw a dollar if you whip like that. That money comes around, yeah, she gets around. Probably throw a dollar if you whip like that. That money comes around, money comes around, money comes around, money comes around. Baby, come give me your all. I see your eyes are the stars. Want me to make you my all.
Really slick video production.
I see your eyes are the stars. Want me to make you my all. Cause wonder if I ever recall. Too many chances I answered the phone. Too many answers I found on my own. Too many breaths on my shoulders that tell me to leave me alone. Think I'm gonna get used to it. I'm loose to it. There's a lot on my mind when I produce music. Recognize my time, yeah, my fruits do it. Come a drop of a knife or a noose through it. If it's heavy on your mind, it's a duplicate. Not alone in your thoughts if the roof will fit. And if you found a leak, it's the finest key. So take a note that your mind was weak. The Lord's got your heart cause it's finally meek. So let him take the pressure off, you'll finally see. Got hate in your heart, but it's fine with me. Honestly. As heavy as it sounds, it'll probably get around. Nothing's out of bounds if you're built like that. That money comes around, yeah, she gets around. Probably throw a dollar if you whip like that. That money comes around, yeah, she gets around. Probably throw a dollar if you whip like that. That money comes around, money comes around, money comes around, money comes around. As heavy as it sounds, it'll probably get around. Nothing's out of bounds if you're built like that. That money comes around, yeah, she gets around. Probably throw a dollar if you whip like that. That money comes around, yeah, she gets around. Probably throw a dollar if you whip like that. That money comes around, money comes around, money comes around, money comes around.
I'll allow the instrumental to play at the end. A little bit of tuning on the vocals. Okay. All right. Well, that was Behave. We're built like that. We're going to talk about this track more in the conclusion. And so welcome to the conclusion of my review of this track from an act named Behave, titled Built Like That. Now, before we get into my overall analysis of this track, what do we think the song's about? There's two stories I'm getting. The first one is like from the video itself, where you've got the kind of the gambling and the shootout in the park and a lot of people driving off and so I'm wondering if there's like danger or gambles or, you know, chances being made and there've been risks associated and, you know, they may or may not have paid off, whether there was like a con job going on or something like that. But with the music itself, it sort of more seems like it's related to their actual journey as a musician, that the answers they've had to find on their own, all the stuff they go through internally, you know, and the money and I suppose when they talk about like women potentially, how it comes around when you behave certain ways or if you're built like that. So it's almost kind of like a self-realization, introspective thing that Behave is going through with this. And I kind of dig it. I think it's an interesting angle to take with it. I feel like there'll be people that can sort of relate to this in terms of like a developmental and sort of like looking over their own history and seeing how far they've come sort of perspective, especially with him being a musician as well. It makes sense, so I dig it. So part of what makes the story work are the way that it's expressed by Behave. And I think that overall that's done quite well in terms of the vocal performance itself. We have someone who's comfortable on the microphone, their head and chest voice, rapping with different levels of expression and intensity. There are different sort of like ways of structuring the rhyme schemes and the different sort of like rhythms of the different lines within each verse, with the choruses being a bit more consistent, really sort of like working with that hook line there, the built like that part there, really sort of like making sure that is heard. But there's enough context and enough variety vocally to be able to sort of like understand more of the story in full, whilst also allowing yourself to sort of sit there and nod your head and enjoy the beat of it, the rhythm to it. I think it was also kind of neat to have him kind of humming or kind of tapping out the melody on his own near the end of the track. It was just kind of cool to have the vocals do something more than tell the story or kind of give more insight into it. To be a part of the actual ether of the song is a really cool decision, especially when you have told the story you need to, and you've just got kind of wiggle room within the real estate of the song's length in order to be able to do that in a way that also benefits it structurally. I also want to give a shout out quickly, as this is more of a post-production part, but I like the different ways that the vocals were processed, whether it is like kind of filtered vocals with less of the low end in the last part, or the backing vocals and the call and responses, and the way that we panned and delayed the vocals as they went from side to side, and sort of like the double tracking parts and the tuning on some bits as well. The different ways that we handled the interpretation of the story by vocals and different ways they sounded just made the mix, the song more interesting as we went through it as well. And with the vocals being the focal point in a song like this, it makes a lot of sense. Structurally speaking, at 3 minutes 09, it's right in that 2 to 4 minute sweet spot. So it's really it's great in terms of length. I think that the song has enough range structurally between the different verse, chorus, and instrumental parts in the intros and outros, etc., to be able to keep you going. The ambience that is created with that kind of low, almost kind of reminds you similar like the Eurotrance tracks of like the mid 2000s, with that kind of really wonderful sub bass, that kind of mid-range resonance to some of those vocal chops as well. It signals an emptiness, and it's like a sense of sadness, almost trying to illustrate the struggle that Behave has gone to. But there's also a sense of authority behind it, as if they have come to a place where they understand and accept who they are and are willing to push forward with that and tell you about it. With the minor key leaning there, it's just nice and fills the frequency spectrum, and it's not only the note choice but the textures and timbres that make it sort of like work really neatly. It allows a lot of room for the drum kits with the various bass, kick, and sort of cymbal patterns there with the hi-hats, some sort of like trappish increments, with a mixture of different 16ths, triplets, and 8ths on the hi-hat there. But I also appreciate that there's a lot of time spent with this track where there are not the drums, where you're kind of surrounded by those upper and lower end sort of instrumental layers, and it allows you to sort of like soak it all in. That having the drums be there and then sort of taking away some parts makes the track more interesting structurally as a listener, but it's meaningful to allow you to be able to absorb stuff. And there's also bits of follow scattered in, such as when the woman sort of like fires off the SMG and you can hear that, and it's very subtle. I'm not sure if that's in like the actual, that'll be within the digital streaming platform version of the tracks. It might just be for the video itself, but either way, I think it's cool to have that audiovisual sort of connection there, that cohesion, and for it to be mixed well within the rest of the song is really positive. And there's this like repeated bass line, boom, boom, boom. It's just this kind of very simple, satisfying idea there that doesn't really go away from the diatonic there. It's enough to allow most of the focus to be on the vocals, simply because you get used to that very quickly. And there's like little sort of backward cymbal shimmers and risers to go into like some of these drops or anti-drops, and it's well thought out. I think it's also a very safe composition. I think it's trying to sort of be trendy and catchy while still allowing Behave to carry most of the authenticity within their performance. It's trying to bridge both. The way that we take away layers at the end on a final note structurally is just really great. We have more of an emphasis on Behave's vocal part in the center of the stereo field there, and it allows you to sort of tie him in from the start to the end. And all of this is elevated, by the studio production. I like the way that the vocals were produced, whether it is the main takes, the side takes, the way that things are automated and panned across the stereo field, the delay tails and certain things, the quality and like presence of the vocals within the mix, the different filters of the vocals in different parts of the frequency spectrum, and then the tuning occasionally for a little bit of kind of additional sort of synthetic feel to kind of meld in with some of the other instrumental parts, like the basses or the synth basses. And I like the fact that, a lot of the other elements, like the drums, were punchy and they were sidechained neatly, but they also weren't too aggressive or pervasive. It does have a misty sort of feel to it, and just allowing the stereo field to be filled, as I said, from left to right with those upper sort of like kind of ambient vocal pads there, and then the synth basses at the bottom. Outside that is really cool. But again, they make use of space as well. There's dynamic range there. It's not too tightly sort of like load or compressed. It's nice and loud without pumping, so the bus compression and limiting was handled. And ultimately, it's just a really fantastic first impression to a commercial grade track from Behave. I got no complaints about this one. It's a very positive review. There's nothing that I listen to within this and think, hey, that could have been done differently. I feel like we could potentially explore other sort of like instrumental layers and mid to upper register. We could have filled it up more, but I don't think it would have necessarily benefited it, especially as if we're hearing them for the first time in their story, and I feel like you've got that on the first track. So ultimately, this is my review of this track from an act named Behave, titled Built Like That, and hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go show them some love via the various social medias and YouTube page, and stay cool and stay safe. Please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as we need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world, and I'll catch you in the next SP Reacts. Spiderhands out.